Today we are going to talk about the role of an AI/ML engineer in 2026. Over to you, Aryan.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, hi everyone. Thank you for attending this masterclass. So, my name is Arihant, and I'll be taking the session today. So, I'll quickly share my screen. Okay. So, today's agenda is that we are going to talk about today's agenda is that we are going to talk about the role of AI/ML engineer in 2026. Right. So, we will be comparing the role of AI ML engineer, right? In the previous years in the sense like in 2022, 23, and how is it slightly changing in 2026, right? We'll be talking about the different job opportunities also in the market, like how the mindset of the recruiters is getting changed now when they are hiring any AI ML person. And we'll be talking about the different use cases also, right? So let's suppose if you're coming from a Java profile, or if you're coming from a .NET profile, or if you are a architect, or if you are a business analyst, or if you are a data analyst, right? So why learning the AML engineer makes a lot of sense, right? So if you are in any of these roles, what kind of new doors will get open for you, so if you will enroll into this, right? And I'll try to share some of the real-time experiences also which we have seen with our past candidates, the benefit what they have got, right? So all those things we'll discuss it in today's session, guys. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, that it's not limited to only those people who are already in the AI/ML sector or in the AI/ML domain, but this will be relevant to those profiles also. So who intend to move into this role, and currently those who are in some other roles, right? Maybe in the Java developer role, .NET role, data architect, or any other role. Okay, so uh, the audience will be like both the type of people. Okay, okay. So the role of AI/ML engineer. Okay. So, firstly, some of the doubts which you'll be having is like, is building models enough in 2026, right? Those who are in the AI/ML domain, they might be knowing that their day-to-day task is to create the machine learning models. But is it sufficient if you are in the AI/ML role? Is it sufficient to crack the interviews? Is it sufficient that you are simply working on the Jupyter notebooks, you are creating the pickle files, and that's it, right? So, can AI tools already write most of the code? So, uh, we have seen like now we as a human don't need to write the codes, right? We have the AI tools who are writing the codes for us. And that's why you saw also like 2 days back how the US stock market crashed, specifically the AI, specifically this IT sector crashed like 10%, 15%, because the news of that Anthropic AI came into the picture, right? And that impact we could clearly seen in the other countries' markets also, right? Like in India also, the IT sector got dropped by 7 to 8% in a single day, which is a huge drop in a single day. Okay, so that also we'll see. So what makes an AI engineer valuable today? So if you are not aware about like what is AI engineer, let me give you the brief background. So one is data scientist role, right? Who is responsible for creating the machine learning models, right? So let's suppose a problem statement has came that you want to predict the sales, like what will be the sales in the next quarter, right? You have to create a sales prediction application. You have to create a sales prediction application. Now, what the data scientist will do, he will collect the data, he will do the EDA part, cleaning part, analyzing the data, trying out the different models, saving it in the pickle format, right? So that is the role of a data scientist. But how to take it to the production? That is where the ML engineer will come into the picture. That is where the ML engineer will come into the picture, right? So those who are in the DevOps profile, they might be able to relate it in a much better way also. Like you have the Dockers, you have the containers, right? You have the different tools using which you take it to the production. So similarly, when we talk about in the machine learning domain. So at that point of time, we call it as the ML engineer or AI ML engineer or AI engineer, right? So AI engineer means who is creating an end-to-end AI application, artificial intelligence application, right? So as of now in the market, we have a lot of people who are already working as a data scientist, right? But we do not have sufficient people in the market who actually knows how to deploy that application in the production, right? So how to create a scalable application, I would say, right? So that's why you see that when any company post any hiring or job description, right? So they are not getting the sufficient resumes for the ML engineer role. For this, yes, they are getting, but this is where the people are lacking. And one interesting thing which you will observe is that even in the colleges, even in the universities, right? So we have the different fields, different streams for the data science role, but none of those streams is taking the ML engineer course, right? So you will not see any course who is taking who is teaching the ML flow, who is teaching the GitHub actions, right? So basically the ML engineering roles into the data scientist role. Okay. So that is what the thing is. So in short, what I'm trying to say, only creating the AI ML models is not sufficient in today's time. You have to think from end-to-end application, right? So this is how the AI landscape is when we see from 2023 to 2026. A lot of GPT models are coming into the picture, and forget about the GPT, right? For example, I was giving the example of this Anthropic, right? Anthropic said like in the next 1 to 5 years, right? Maybe you can imagine like next 2 to 3 years, 50% of the entry level jobs will be vanished away. And that actually we are seeing also in the market these days, that no company wants to hire the freshers, right? And even the team sizes are getting shrink, right? So if earlier the team size was of 10 people, now it is getting shrink to 5 people, 6 people. Okay. The reason is because now we have the AI agents who can do the task for me. I can create an end-to-end application without writing even a single line of code, right? So that means agents are taking over the task. AI co-pilots integrated into the IDs, open source LLMs ecosystem explosion. A lot of open source LLMs are coming into the picture. So you all might be using the Microsoft Teams. In the Microsoft Teams, you have the feature of Copilot, which can actually summarize all the meeting notes, right? What are the tasks which have been assigned to each team member? Earlier, manager used to do it manually. Now we have the Copilot who can do all the tasks for me. It can summarize the video of 2 hours in 5 minutes of transcript. Okay, so this is what it is. So basic implementation is equal to commodity. Prompt engineering alone is not the career. Okay, so notebook level skills are not enough, right? So if you're creating only the Jupyter applications, if you're working on the Kaggle data sets, that is not sufficient. You have to think from a production level. Production thinking is mandatory. That if tomorrow, right, so 1 million people or 2 million people are going to hit my website or are going to use my particular AI application, will it be able to work? Can I make it more scalable? Right, so those kind of things. For example, let's talk about the Amazon. When you have the big billion days, when you have some campaigns running on these websites, a huge rush start appearing on these kind of websites. So how to manage that kind of rush? So that things are basically important, and where many people are lacking, right? So in which are basically the skills which are required in your resume these days. So what generally people think nowadays, that if I know the Python, if I know the pandas and some basic libraries like NumPy and so on, you are ready for the job. But that is not the case, right? Building some Titanic projects, some basic projects, that is not sufficient, right? So train some random forest, because if I'll talk about these machine learning projects, even a person who is in the college, right, he's also doing these things. So if you are a 10 years of experience professional, 15 years of experience professional, so how you will justify your salary? How you are different from those who are in the college? Because in the college also they are doing these kind of things. So how you are different from them, right? So this is where the AI ML skills come into the picture, where you can think of the deployment part. So what companies expect in 2026 is that a person who can take the end-to-end ownership. And that's why you will see now the companies are looking for the full stack data scientist. Now they are not asking that we need a data analyst. Now they are not asking that we need only the ML engineer. What they are saying, that we need someone, right? So we need someone who can take the role of a business analyst also, data analyst also, machine learning engineer also, deep learning engineer also, Gen AI engineer also, agentic AI engineer also, right? So AI engineer also. Basically, who can take all these tasks? The reason is simple. The reason is simple because nowadays we have to deliver the projects in a very short duration of time. So gone are those days when we used to spend like 6 months on a single project, right? So now the client, they themselves are saying that we have the AI tools. Now, why do you need 6 months, right? So that basically, earlier we used to take 6 months. Now we are delivering the projects within 2 months, right? So let's suppose you created one project on the machine learning in 2 months, right? And after that, the new requirements come for the deep learning. Now they are not going to hire a new person who knows the deep learning. So that's why they are looking for a full stack data scientist who can involve himself in the data analyst part also, into the GenAI part also, and the deep learning part also, right? So that management don't have to think, okay, I need a deep learning engineer now, I need the machine learning engineer now. So this is how the trend is getting changed. That's why you will see in the companies, they're asking that whether you have this experience, this experience, this experience or not, right? They're asking of all the experiences. So end-to-end ownership, this is called as the end-to-end ownership, starting from collecting the data till the deployment part, right? So you should have the deployment mindset that because nowadays we are working on the agents, LLMs, we are going to deploy these kind of things on the cloud. So we do not want that you are going to deploy a project which is of very high size, right? Maybe of 500 MB, 1 GB, 2 GB, right? Otherwise, the costing will be very high. So how you can reduce the parameters, right? How you can reduce the size of the model, and then you can deploy it. Cloud familiarity, right? So this is very important that you should have the knowledge of any one cloud platform, either it is GCP or AWS or the Azure. Monitoring and retraining the strategy, business problem solving, automating using the GenAI and agents. So I'll tell you, recently there was a candidate and he was a database administrator, right? DB administrator. So he was working in the product-based company, and there were 136 people working in the same project as a database who were handling the different databases. Now, what they have done, they have entirely outsourced that project to some third party, right? To some third party. Now, management simply asked if any one of you, of one of those 136 people, know the AI, then we are going to create a new in-house AI team. Then we can, deploy you on those. Otherwise, we have to lay you off. Okay. So I'm telling you the importance of AI and ML. So if you are in this skill, then you can be absorbed in any company. The reason is because a lot of companies, right? Almost every company is spending a lot of money on this, right? If you have heard about this Meta, right? They are spending like $111 billion, right? Nvidia, right? Different companies, they are spending like anything. So a lot of investment is going. So definitely they need the good resources also who can work on it. So modern AI ML engineer responsibilities are like who can create the end-to-end pipelines, right? Which can automate the task. CI/CD integration, continuous monitoring and logging. Monitoring and logging in the sense if a lot of traffic is coming on your website, so how it can manage, right? How it can route to the different network. Docker containerization, fast API, model training and tuning, basically end-to-end thing. Okay. So now, okay. So now, uh, if I talk about, if I'll talk about this thing which I was telling you, there were 136 people. There were 136 people in a product-based company, right? Telling you a real-time scenario, right? There were 136 people in the product-based company, and they were working for a database, right? DBA. Now, what the company has said, because the senior management got changed, right? Whenever the senior management got changed, they bring some different things. So they outsource this entire project, the DBA project, right? So to some third party, to some consultancy firm. Now, these people have become redundant. So what the management said, like if any one of you knows the AI part, then we are going to create our own in-house AI team. So there we can deploy you. But if you do not have, then we have to lay you off, right? So this is one case. Another case is like there was a test engineer, Right now we know for testing, actually we don't need humans now, right? Because easily you can create the AI agents, easily you can create the AI agents, and that can make the task so easy. So, right? It can do all the testing and everything. So the management, what they said, if you know how to create the agents, then please start creating the agents. Otherwise, we need to look for someone else who can write the agents for us, right? Who is a test engineer also and who can write the AI agents also for us, right? So this is the another use case. So with these examples, I'm trying to make you understand the importance of AI and ML. Now
Great.
I'll tell you. Now I'll tell you. It's like what are the different roles we have, right? And if you are in any of these roles, then how you can utilize the AI skills, right? Why the learning the AI is important. Let's suppose if you are a data engineer, right? So let's suppose if you are a data engineer. So data engineer in the sense data engineering. So how to get the data, how to create the pipelines, right? ML pipelines and so on. So here you can utilize the skills to scale the AI applications, to scale the AI applications. Because as of now, you are just scaling the Java application or the .NET application or any other application. But for scaling the AI application, you should know like what the AI is, what are the different machine learning algorithms we have. Then only you can scale it. And because every company now is creating their own AI applications, so that's why you will see a lot of openings are coming for the data engineering role. If you are in the testing profile, right, or if you are a tester, right, so we know that you are testing the Java application or any other application, but every company is creating their own AI applications also. And you cannot test without having the knowledge of the AI, because nowadays LLM based applications are getting created. And the problem with the LLMs are that they hallucinate it. They hallucinate it, right? Even if they do not know the answer, they will try to give you something. So while hiring the companies, if you are a simple tester, right, a manual tester or the automation tester, right, so companies will not hire you, right, for the testing role, because you do not have the experience of LLMs, what the LLMs are or how to test this, right? So that's why learning the AI is becoming important for tester profiles also. If you are a Java developer, right, if you are a Java developer, so then how you can integrate the AI application within your application, right? As an example, all of you are using the different websites. Now what the companies have done, they have integrated their chatbot within the existing application. So what is that? That they have integrated the AI part within it, right? If I'll talk about this note, one note, right, which I'm using. So here, if you will see, I'm using it from so many years, but recently they have added this AI feature, which is the pen. Now, if I'm going to write anything here, let's suppose if I'm writing any number here, 98210, right, automatically it is converting it into this thing. So what is this? This is the AI feature. So application is already there, right, which might be built on Java, .NET, or any other way, but we have integrated, but this company, they have integrated this AI feature. So means either you are a Java developer or anything, you should know how you can integrate the AI part into this. If you are a business analyst, right, BA, if you are a business analyst, then there is no escape, right? So because as a business analyst, your objective will be to pitch in the new ideas, pitch in new ideas, right? So how you can bring some new business from the client, right? So how you can pitch in new ideas, right? For example, this OneNote, if I'll talk about the example of this OneNote, so it is working fine from so many years, but the team, what they have done, they have brought up this new idea ki why can't we integrate a pen which can identify the human handwriting, right? I can write the 9 in this way also, I can write the 9 in this way also, I can write the 9 in this way also, but how it is able to identify all the nines? So this is what, this is the rule of this thing. If I'll talk about the Microsoft Teams is in the market from so many years, but using the integration of Copilot, how easily the things are working now. Okay, so that's why the role of this is where the role of BA comes into the picture. If you are an architect, if you are an architect, right, then you can change the entire design, right, entire system design, I would say, right, because architect is responsible to create the end-to-end architecture. Okay, so If you are in the architect profile, into the data architect or the model architect or any kind of architect profile, again, very important role. If you are in the business leader or leadership role, business leader or leadership role, right? So this will help you in making some business strategies, right? Business strategies in the sense like at the company level, right? What AI changes you can bring, right? Or what new ideas you can bring. So this is what we have here. Now, if I'll talk about, right, if I'll talk about the roadmap, right? So how you should learn and what should be the roadmap of it, right? So if you are in any of these profile or if you are already in the AI ML domain, right? So now I'll tell you like what should be your roadmap and how to prepare for it or what are the skills which are required, right? The first thing which is required is the Python, right? Python is the programming language, right? Which you should be aware of. And for this, you should not be hard coder, right? It should not be like you should be a pro in doing the coding because we have the AI agents who can write the codes for us, right? Even in the VS Code, anti-gravity, right? So we have different tools where the AI agents are there which can write the code for us. Our role is just to understand the basics of programming. Second thing which you should be aware of, right? If you are doing this thing, the understanding of the ML models, right? Because you can deploy the model only if you have the basic understanding of the models, that what the models are, how they are being created, right? So that means you should have the understanding of the machine learning algorithms. After that, you should have the understanding of the ML ops tools, right? What are the tools? For example, the GitHub, right? For example, Dockers for containers. For example, DAGs Hub, right? Or DVC, right? So this is called as a data version control. Data version control in the sense if your data is constantly changing. So how to take the snapshot of each version because machine learning is all about the experiments. So GitHub, so using the Git and GitHub, you can maintain the code versioning, right? So Dockers, this is used to make the application at the production level, right? ML flow, right? When you do the different experiments. So for that, we use it. Then you have the logging and observability, right? If you are getting a heavy rush, right? If you are having the CPU usage increasing a lot, so for those kind of things, you should continuously create an application which will monitor it, right? So, and you should have some cloud exposure also. You should have some cloud exposure also. Now, this is about the ML ops. But as I was telling you, only the ML ops is not sufficient these days because many companies they are creating the LLM applications also. So for that, you should have the understanding of LLMs also, right? What are AI agents? How to create the agentic AI application? How to create the agentic AI application? Now, if you have understanding of it, right? Again, you don't have to be pro in this, right? So you should have the basic understanding because your role as a AI ML engineer is more towards the deployment part, not towards the creation part. Okay. So why we are going to learn the creation part? So that you should have the basic understanding that how the data scientist is going to create this, right? And then you have the LLM ops. Firstly, we'll be covering like what are LLMs, right? Like this GPT, how the GPT works, how this chat GPT works internally, how this Anthropic works. And then we talked about the LLM ops. Okay, so how to deploy it, right? So again, I'll repeat. So Python is the prerequisite. Then the different machine learning models. Although this is not your task as a AI ML engineer, this will not be your task. This will be the role of a data scientist to create the machine learning model. Then you might be thinking that why we are covering it? Because for deployment, your job will be this. Your job will be this as a data engineer, as a AI ML engineer, your role will be towards the deployment part. You can
Is,
deploy only if you have the understanding how it is being created, right?
uh,
So then the LLMs and then LLMs. Yeah.
is it not the ML ops engineer who is doing that, Arihant? Or
Uh, Which point number?
Deployment. Deployment. So when you
Yes,
said
deployment is something. Yeah,
like,
deployment is something which will be doing this, right? Which will be doing the ML engineers. But point number two, this is generally done by the data scientists.
okay, but the expectation is it needs to be
Yes,
also done right now. The AML
yes,
engineers are expected to do this also, right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, because the interviews and everything will happen at point number two also. So if the people will be having the understanding of ML models or algorithms, then only they can deploy this thing. And this is what we are going to cover in our classes, right? So starting with the Python, then the ML models, ML ops tools, LLMs, and this way.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll quickly go through the PPT also, right? So technical stacks, right? So these are the technical stacks that you should have: the Python understanding, Git, agentic AI, LLMs, APIs, right? How you can create the API also for any application which you have created, right? So scikit-learn, XGBoost, LightGBM, these are basically the ML models only. Keras, this is related to the deep learning models. Hugging Face, where all the LLMs will be deployed, right? Model evaluation framework. All these are related to the LLM engineering, like prompt design, rack pipeline, embedding, vector DBs, and all these things generally are asked in the interviews also, right? Because using this, you can create a LLM based application. And these are our tools, our in the sense for a ML engineer, like Dockers, Kubernetes, ML flow, model registry, Airflow pipelines, monitoring, and drift detection. Okay, so this is what the ML ops is, right? Automating the ML pipeline, CI/CD for ML, data versioning, model versioning, drift modeling, and this one. And these are some real industry use case examples, like bank loan model deployed in 2024, right? Let's suppose any bank, they deployed one machine learning model which will predict whether the loan should be given to person or not, right? Which got deployed in 2024. But due to the economic changes, right? Let's suppose these days a lot of tariff related things are happening in the US. So because of that, the data pattern is getting changed. So how the model performance will keep on dropping. So this is where the role of AI engineer will come into the picture. They will detect the drift in the sense how the model performance is changing and how to then retrain it. If the model accuracy is not coming good, then how to retrain it and how to redeploy it. Okay, so this is where the role of AI ML engineer come into the picture. That's why I was telling you, even the point number two is important. This is where the role of point number two will come into the picture. Because if you do not have that understanding, you will not be able to solve this problem statement. Okay, so uh, you should have the deep Python understanding, system designs, cloud integration, LM, right? So this is some another project, right? AI resume screening system. So like this is the biggest problem in front of HRs, that for a single job opening, for a single job description, they will be having hundreds of resumes. Now, how to cherry pick those resumes, right? Which we can take to the next level. This is very hard for the HRs because they cannot interview for all the hundreds of resumes. So this is where the AI comes into the picture. AI will compare each resume with a job description based on their education, skill set, based on their different criterias, and it will give rank, right, in the descending order. So based on that, the scoring will happen, and HR will simply sort it, and it will pick only the top 10 resumes for the interviews. Okay. So this is the second use case: customer support AI chatbot, LLM plus. So this kind of application we are going to create now. I'll show you the practical usage also, that will be passing one document to my model, AI based chatbot, and then I'll be asking the questions from that document. Okay, so real-time fraud detection, whether any transaction is fraudulent or whether it is a real-time transaction, right? Or it's a genuine transaction or a fraudulent transaction. So how it can be done using this ML ops, right? So this is what we are going to see. So what will not work in 2026? Only the certificates will not work, right? You should have the knowledge, because I have seen many people who just believe in collecting the certificates, right? Yes, certificates help, but only if you have the knowledge also. Okay, because in the interviews they will be asking the questions only. Only Kaggle related topics will not help. Only prompt engineering will not help. Many people, they avoid the deployment part. They get afraid of the deployment part, but that will not help now, right? Ignoring the system design will not help. What will help is building end-to-end projects, deploy everything. Think like a engineer, right? Which can take a raw data and it can create a working application, understand the business impact and focus on the production reliability. Okay, so final thoughts is like in 2026, the question is not can you build a model? The real question is can you build an AI system that survives in the production? Okay, now, now guys, what I'll show you one application, right? A small demo in Python, just to give you the idea, right? So it will be based on the LLM, right? It will be based on the LLM. So what we are going to do, and we are going to use the GPT LLM. So what we are going to do, we have a document, right, which is like a offer letter of which is like a offer letter, right? This is a dummy offer letter, right? Where the company name is written, the joining date is written, the salary is written, the location is written, right? And everything is written, right? So it's like a 10, 15 page document. And here we will be creating a chatbot, right? So this will be opening on my browser, right? So this will be opening in my browser. So what we'll be doing, we will be uploading this. So here I'll be having the browse option. Here I'll be having the browse option. When I'll click on the browse, I'll take this offer letter, the PDF document into this, and from that I can start asking the questions. And it will actually give me the answers, right? A real-time application, and it is used in the service industry a lot, right? So in the this one customer support, into the customer support, it is being used a lot. Okay. So let's see how we can do it, right? So just give me a second. I'll just quickly open it. Okay. So now, okay. So guys, so this is the document we have, right? So this is like an employee agreement, or you can say like this is an offer letter, right? So this is employee agreement made an agreement on this between this company. This is a dummy name of the company, and this is the name of the employee. This employment replaces in this, right? So if you'll see, this is a 13-page document in which all the policies of the companies are written. That what is the policy of resignation, of paid leaves, sick leaves, right? Termination, right? All these policies are written. I do not have the time to read each and everything, right? So what we can do, we can create this kind of application, right? So this is purely based on the LLM based application, right? So this is a LLM based application where we have used the OpenAI GPT model, right? So if you will see, we have used the GPT-4o mini. So here what we have done, right? So we have taken this employee agreement, and here I can ask the questions, right? I can ask the questions about it, right? So let's suppose who is the employee, right? Or what is the name of the employee, right? What is the name of the employee? Simply I can ask the question. So internally, what is happening? The GPT-4o mini is coming into the picture and it is framing the answer for us, right? And it is saying the name of the employee is Richard Carlson. And if I want to compare it, whether it is correct or not, right, I can see it also. See, it is Richard Carlson, right? So, or if I want to ask any other thing, let's suppose what is the salary of the employee? What is the salary offered to the employee, right? So I can give this thing. Now let's see what it has to give. So it is saying $14,583 per month, right? So if I want to check, is it the case, right? I'll just do the control S and see salary. See, the salary is 14,583 per month, right? So this is a very useful application, and most of the companies they are using these kind of applications to simplify their task. Even the Microsoft Teams that they have the Copilot is also using this thing only internally, where the transcript is generated and we can simply ask the questions from that transcript. Okay. So this is what I wanted to discuss, guys.
Awesome.
Uh, yes, so we have seen the multiple things we have seen in today's session. First thing we have seen is like what is the role of AI ML engineer, right? So the companies are looking for the full stack data scientist. Then we have talked about some real-time use cases also, like why the companies are laying off and what kind of profiles are at risk. And then we have talked about the different profiles, whether you are in the data engineer, tester, Java developer, business architect, business analyst, architect, or anything. Then what is a roadmap, right? So what should be your roadmap? And trust me, guys, it's not about the coding. It's about your analytical thinking because coding can be easily done by the AI tools, right? And then we have created one end-to-end applications also. Obviously, I have not talked about much into the coding part. I just wanted to show you the implementation part, right? So that I wanted to show. So this is what I wanted to discuss, guys. Maybe Sharath, you can take it over now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and clearly explaining what this is. We are open for questions, folks. If you have any questions, please do let us know. In the chat, we are taking questions. Meanwhile, I would like to also let you all know that we offer end-to-end AI/ML engineering course that is job ready. That makes you job ready. So if you have any questions or if you would like to pursue in that, we'll be happy to let you know. Happy to help you. We're open for questions, and I can quickly walk you through how our program looks like. And Jason has a question. Jason Harris. Let me unmute Jason. Okay, Jason, I requested you to unmute yourself.
There, I'm just curious. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That chat was disabled. I was trying to type that. I ran into a man the other day. His name was Kane Minkus.
No. We are not able to follow you. We were. Could you be a little louder or maybe put your mic closer or something?
Okay. Is that better?
Arihant?
Voice is cracking. Voice is cracking in between. I can't hear it
Okay.
properly.
All right.
Mhm.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Just let me know how much needs to finish that.
Maybe, or you can post the question in the chat window also, Harris.
Jason, yeah.
Jason, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
It's that set of headphones.
Okay.
I've been following a man named Kane Minkus. He's supposed to be the AI expert, and he offers a course for $3,000 where you can become an AI consultant engineer and certified by his university. And the reason why I joined your webinar today was because he shows all these claims of people who make $500 to $1,000 an hour working for the company, just creating the what do you call it, the prompts, the prompt engineering. And I know a lot of these guys, they want to sell the hype, that like, oh, if you get this course and you certificate, you'll be, making all this money. I was in IT for 20 years as a consultant, as an actual IT consultant on networks. Now, obviously, that is probably going away with AI, and I get that. So the need to, I guess I would say, scale up, if you will, is going to be there. And I think I'm just kind of clarifying when you said hype. Is these people is that what you refer to? The people who say, "Oh, if you just get this, you'll be able to walk into any company and make all this money," or
Repeat that question for me again at the last.
Well, I just trying to clarify that this man is selling a very expensive program, and he says it's like a boot camp essentially. And I've been to them when I was younger. I've been to boot camps when I was a network administrator, so I know that they do have their value, obviously. But when they show all those flashy screens about, oh, I made 500, I made 1,000, I made 15,000, and then I look at this, what you guys are talking about, the nitty gritty of what the companies expect. You walk in the company and say, hey, I got this little piece of paper that says I can make prompts. Well, is obviously seems to be the companies are moving past that pretty fast.
Well, I think, yeah, I understood your question. I'm going to put you on mute and I'll probably answer your question. Thank you for the question, by the way. And I guess, there's a lot of folks online just trying to create just hype and not giving you the right outcome or right content to become what you have to. And then no one is getting paid $1,000 per hour for sure, because I can present you the job opportunities that I'm seeing at currently on the LinkedIn right now. But there is definitely a lot of requirement currently for the AIML engineers. And the research from LinkedIn says that there is only one person for 10 requirements. There's so many resumes that are being built using AI itself, which are fake and portraying themselves that they are AI ML engineers, and it is becoming difficult for recruiters to pick a right one. There is barely anyone compared to a lot of other skills that we have in the market. There is barely anyone who can meet the requirements of the organizations right now. And obviously, again, I cannot speak for what his boot camps teach or not, but what we teach are relevant to market skills. And I'm not promising you $1,000 per hour, but what I'm telling you here is something that I'm not telling you, but if you can see my screen on the right-hand side, this is AML engineer roles that you're looking at. From the LinkedIn, I just typed in there. You're earning somewhere between 200 to 3,000, 190 at least 350, 227, 350, 250, 240, 400,000, 275, 400,000, 225,000, 299,000, 170. This is not something the data that I gathered. I just said AIML engineer and job in the LinkedIn. They are paying you actually that kind of money when you have the right skill, the skill that we are talking about right now in the class, or in the masterclass right now. So it's not just the front end, not just the deployment, not just the models, but together, if you have a good tech stack, there are companies willing to pay up to $500,000, $600,000. If you already saw here, it's not me who is saying, right? So some part of what he's saying might be true, but just prompt will not take you anywhere at all. I hope that answered your question. So I have another question from Tiago. I want to pursue agentic AI expert or LLM. I'm currently being a full stack architect. What is your advice? Would you consider full stack data scientist? Okay, that is two different questions. Let me unmute Tiago. If you could please raise your hand. Jason, awesome. Jason likes the answer. Tiago is at the top. I'm asking to unmute you. You could probably ask a question. Arihan, this would be more of your question. I want to pursue agentic, exploring LLMs. He's a full stack architect. So what do you suggest him to start?
So, okay. So I'll share my screen. Now, see, if I'll talk about from the architect point of perspective, right? So architect is the one who should have the end-to-end understanding, right? Now, if I'll talk about the entire data science umbrella, so we have couple of things. So first one is AI/ML, right? So this is the first part in which we talked about the data analyst part, we talked about the Python, we talked about the statistics. More importantly, here we talk about the statistics, right? After this, then comes the Gen AI part, right? Which we talk about the generative AI. Here you will be learning about the LLMs, what the LLMs are and how it works. And then comes the agentic AI, right? So here you will be talking about like how the agents are created, how it is, how the orchestration is working basically. And then comes the ML ops or LLM ops or LLM ops, right? So this is the end-to-end journey if anyone wants to enter into the data science role. So this is what we suggest to him, right? If anyone wants to start his career into the data science, firstly, he should learn this because here he'll be talking about the statistics and the basics will become clear. Then the second step, then the third step, and then the fourth step. This is the end-to-end journey if anyone is entering into it. But because you are working as a architect role. So for you, the agentic AI will make more sense because if you are at the architect role, so I'm assuming you'll be having close to 15 plus years of experience. Okay. So you can start with this and then you can move to this and then you can come back and then you can learn the AI ML part. Right. So this should be your journey. So you should start from this. This should be the first part. And then you can move towards this because when we talk about the ML ops, we'll be talking about little bit about the ML part also, like how the models are created. So here you'll be talking about the deployment part, and then you can go to the point number one. Tiago, does that make sense?
Okay, thank you, Arhant. There is one question here from Jalin Walker on the chat. We'll go by one. We'll go one by one. Would you consider a full stack data scientist to be different than an ML engineer? How do these two roles compare?
I'll explain this one. If I'll talk about the ML ops engineer, right? So ML ops engineer means this one.
No, ML
This is,
engineer. ML engineer is the question,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, ML engineer. So this is ML engineer. So this role is ML engineer, right? Who knows the deployment part, right? For which this masterclass was, right? So where I was explaining you how the deployment, with Dockers, containers, and all everything. So this is called as the ML engineer. Now, if I'll talk about the full stack data scientist, right? If I'll talk about full stack data scientist, so that means he should know this part also, this part also, this part also, and this part also. That is called as a full stack data scientist. So who knows each and everything from in and out. So full stack data scientist is like the top of the umbrella or top of the pyramid. Full stack data scientist is the top of the pyramid, and under this the different profiles comes, right? So like ML engineer, right? Not business analyst, but I would say data analyst, right? Then you have the deep learning engineer, NLP engineer, different profiles comes into this. Okay, so this is how it is different. So you can say ML engineer is the subset of full stack data scientist. Uh, is it making
Okay.
sense?
I hope. Yeah. Looking at the chat. Awesome. He's got a thumbs up there. And Jason, what other questions do you have, folks? Jason, and while I take Jason's question, one last question from Jason's side. Uh-oh, where is Jason? Yeah, Jason, go ahead, please.
So, going back to what I said about when I worked in Washington, D.C. as a IT consultant, is I know this is a big tough question for you guys to answer, but I had stacks and stacks of certifications over 20 years. I worked in some of the biggest network operation centers in the world. Is all of that completely obsolete now?
Well, I think I'm not an AI expert, but I can tell you if there is no domain knowledge, right? If there is no work that you're going to automate. So you need, if you have to, if you're an agentic AI consultant, if you're a Gen AI consultant, you need to automate something. If you do not have that tech stack, if you do not have that knowledge, what are we going to automate? Where are we going to use AI? How are you going to train and teach the models? People like you with tons and tons of knowledge also learn AI to train them. That's how they are trained, right? I can't go and teach them. The knowledge that you carry is not something that I have. So Arihant, did you want to add more on
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So I would say, Jason, so it's a very well-known thing also, like make trend as your friend. So as of now, the data science, machine learning, AI, agentic AI, this is the trend. So if you'll go with the trend, so there will be a plenty of opportunities if you're going to apply for any role, right? Companies are hiring like anything. Companies are paying good money if you are in the right boat, right? I have seen many people who are still struggling with the old technologies, right? Like Teradata and some other technologies, which are slowly moving out. So it's always good to be in that board, right? Where we have the future, where the companies are investing, right? Agentic AI, Gen AI, these are the areas in which companies are spending like anything. So I would always say like trend is your friend, whether it is a stock market, whether it's a technology or anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, we have a quick poll that we would like to launch. Could you go ahead and do that, one of my team member? Jason likes the answer. I would like you guys to take a moment to answer this because, like I said, this is the trend. What other questions do we have? What questions do we have? Meanwhile, while we're taking this, so another question coming in there. What do you, okay, so what is this bootcamp about? How can I get, okay, cool. So someone wants to understand what the bootcamp is about, how it is tailored, and how would it make them better at what they're doing, stuff like that, right? So quickly, I'm not gonna go through all the brochure that I have. It's about 26 pages and stuff. Ideally, our boot camps are curated for folks who has at least 5 to 10 years of experience. We have folks with 30 years of experience joining the boot camp. For AI ML initial, the modeling, and then this is just AI ML, not the ML ops. It's a 80-hour curriculum. It's 100% live virtual training taught by the trainer themselves. We have 40 plus projects, hands-on projects. We do not have enough time to complete everything in the training itself. We cover about 13 small projects and a capstone projects during the training, but we also have a GitHub profile where we have, GitHub repository. We have about 25 other projects that we help you guys with. So ideally, once you're done with this particular cohort of AML engineering, you are completing about 40 different projects hands-on. And how are you going to do that? You're going to take help of these tools that Arihant was talking about. All of these tools are actually enterprise-grade tools. These are the tools that is required for you to do the jobs in the organization. So you are ideally using the tools that are used in the organizations, creating at least, implementing at least 40 different projects with the help of the trainer and then getting ready for the job. So we also have, we help you build the portfolio in the GitHub. We have access to, multiple cohorts once you register for one. And then you have an end-to-end capstone project. We have multiple tools that we have talking about. Meanwhile, you also get job readiness program. Job readiness program includes refinement of resume, refinement of GitHub, and also mock interviews that we help you with. We are ideally teaching you AI ML skills. We're also helping you with refining your portfolio. We are helping you refining your resume, LinkedIn, how you look outside, and then you're also helping you with the interviews prep. That way you are ready for the job. The promise, the goal of the particular program that we're doing is job readiness. We make you ready for job. That is what we do. So again, if you want to go in detail of what this is, a lot of detailed brochure that we have here, we can share that with you. High level, we talk about fundamentals of data analytics, statistics for data analytics, data science with Python, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, deep learning, AI and ML overall. And then we also have another 50-hour course. We're talking about complete deployment cycle where you can learn how to deploy models, how to deploy agents, how to deploy LLMs. We're talking about multiple things there. So this is what we cover in the boot camps, guys. We ideally are making you job ready in this particular time of need. So we have an agentic AI and then MLOps bootcamp coming up in agentic AI coming up in February 9th. That's this Monday. And MLOps and AIML coming up in March. So if there is anyone who's interested, could always let us know. How long are these? These are about what? 6 to 10 weeks. 6 to 10 weeks. These are planned for folks like you who is experienced. So it's either in the weekends or in the weekday evenings. So you do not have to skip your game, skip your office. So it is created that way to help folks who are working. I think we are at the end. If we do not have any other questions, then we can take a leave. One last time, if any questions, we are glad to help. Awesome. Thank you so much. We are at time, Arihan. Thank you for being with us here. Thank you, audience. Great
Thank
talking
thank
to
you.
you
Thank
all.
you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Happy weekend, folks.